man.
Oh, it was noise. Noise.
We're not laughing at nothing, but production's laughing too. Stream. Me and Kresnik haven't lost our minds.
I promise.
Just so everyone's aware.
I'm not that crazy. I promise.
I'm
only a little bit up there for craziness. Unfair only chill.
Paladins claims to not be crazy. I don't know, man. Those two things don't really align.
Listen, man. I cast Rogue Company. There's levels that you have to be.
Yeah,
to go down the high risk game spectrum.
So yeah, I've not got much to say.
You stream Rogue Company?
No. We're not Rogue Company. I thought you said another company. I thought you said another company.
No.
Oh my lord. I think we have lost our minds, stream.
Unfair versus only chill. Losers semis.
Yeah.
And the draft is ready. I've summoned it here. We're able to look on Splitstone Quarry, where things are going to start off. The primarily controller French team over here versus the NA. I think they're a hybrid team. I feel like they have a controller player. I'll double check that as we go in. But Splitstone, I feel like this seems like a map that we are defaulting to a lot today.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those maps that has become like a comfort pick for a lot of teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, back in the day, you seen this would be like the Jaguar Falls of the maps. You know, it's just one that we don't know what we're coming up against. We'd like to just have an even playing ground, and I think that's becoming the Splitstone is becoming one of those staple maps now. To be honest, we've got the Ruckers and the Corvus bands, and now of course the Vartu ban as well. With the first pick, Andro, how do you feel about that?
If I was Rock Monkey, I'd be seething right now. I don't know how I feel about it. I understand the verticality from them, and maybe taking away a vertical hit scan, right? Especially with I think, oh no, there's nothing else really banned. They could have gone Koga maybe, but still they got rid of it. They have the ability to kind of play on Quarry if they try to stack inside there. I believe that's what Only Chill tried to do the last time they played this map as well. So maybe a little bit of prediction, but they get to kind of lean into what they like to do right now with Invocal picking up that Barrack again, and they get the ROM, which I believe they struggled with the last time they played against it and went in the winner's side.
So they just try and take something you think that they're not so comfortable taking. They do let through the Talus on the other side. We're seeing more, I want to say, standardized drafting this time around, with both teams actually picking up like real point tanks here, unless they decide to do something else with the Fernando. But a Barrack and Fernando is more common of a draft than we've been used to seeing today, with a lot of the off-tank and double flank compositions instead.
Yeah, I think being able to mix it up. Also, less reliance on shields. For Unfair, they don't have to like get completely hard countered by Wrecker. Now that's going to be how Only Chill gets to play with, Aegis and Con Shield both able to get torn apart depending on who wants to pick it up on their team. Also, I mean, Indro can just kind of ignore it for Con, so it's a more difficult matchup for them to play. I like the Furia. I think Furia, combine that with that ROM, with that Andro, once they pop the Inflame, they can get a lot of aggression there. But the Shah maybe a little bit out of sync with the rest of this draft. I feel like it's going to be almost like a 2-2-1 with Furia kind of floating, with Andro and ROM being the ones to really get aggressive and swing in. And Only Chill, I'm not shocked that they have gone with Lex Talus.
I like the Charlene for the shield breaking capabilities, but if they're playing in Spinner, I don't know how Shah really gets angles without putting himself in a dangerous situation that makes him vulnerable to the flank of the Talus. If he takes high ground, fair enough, Talus needs the ult to get to him. But if they all don't push into positions that give angles from high ground, then the Charlene kind of becomes a little bit useless against the enemy's composition here.
Yeah, they can just kind of stack. They can stack inside and just kind of slowly trade cap. I think having the Nando with Aegis able to pop up with it, pop his shield up, get some cap time, let it get broken a little bit, back up, reset. They need to actually have a way to collapse in. Once they get that Inflame and the ROM ult, then I think the door opens a little bit. But if Only Chill get enough cap pressure before then, they could walk away with some of these mids.
Oh yeah, for sure. Could be difficult for them, but hopefully we'll swing into the game now in a moment, and we'll find out how it goes for either team.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the builds as they get brought up here, at least the talents chosen. I'm sure it's not going to be anything surprising. Seems like there's not a lot of characters that you really can be flexible with talent-wise right now. I mean, I guess I saw Fortify earlier, we saw Heroism, but I don't think those have been really successful. Interesting
as well that the back... I mean, it works with what you're saying about the fact that with the Barracks side of the squad, the Wrecker doesn't really counter them that much, and it goes even further to say that the Wrecker won't counter them, because you don't really need Wrecker unless Barrack goes Fortify. That shield is not that potent without picking up the talent that actually improves its health.
Yeah, you can really tear it apart with the damage that you have. I mean, unless you have like some more high mobility like burst flanks, you might not be able to sustain long enough to put the pressure on it. But they don't really need it. 3 wreckers though picked up by Unfair to apply this pressure here. And again, it is a stack in spinners. Talus is the only one kind of lost on the side and getting into an early duel with Avaleo, who looks in control of this, but love that positioning. They can't really punish him.
Yeah, once he's pushed back there, he's already used his dash in the little fight they'd had as an engagement, so capabilities to actually push him afterwards are basically nil at that point. The round is doing a fantastic job of keeping the red side's only chill actually positioned consistently in this this spinner side rather than letting them through. You'd think that they would just push him at this point with the amount of characters that they have, but never mind, he pushes in himself, and not quite sure why, because he's just basically run into the lion's den.
He tried to go in, just tried to avoid the cripple. If he doesn't get crippled there by Grover, he actually runs through and has a great time pressuring there, but still not really that hard to hit a character that's that big. He gets stopped, he gets melted, and now having to retake in a 5 versus 4 are the members of Unfair. Leighton actually might be able to make it back for touch, but it looks like he's going to make Invocal do it instead. Does barely get the toe tap, but what is their next step here? Leighton's walking out, but Leighton is going to get shot early, overpowered, thrown into the spinners, and now a 3 versus 5 for Unfair. They're going to have to give up this midpoint and give the first point up to Only Chill.
It is definitely looking in favor of Only Chill here. Not quite finally finished here. Bones and Invocal are still touching the point here. Charlene goes down, and finally the barrier drops. That only leads now to the overtime, ticking down to send this first point over in the way of Only Chill. We do have a game pause here now, ladies and gents, so we're going to have to wait for the teams to unpause this before we can continue on with the match. But this is going pretty much exactly how we expected. Only Chill taking control of that spinner. Unfair having their round, keeping them contained at least within there, but not really doing a whole lot. The damage numbers aren't really there with the Charlene on high ground, the Androxus on left, and I mean, a round by himself into that squad, it's not going to do much, you know?
Yeah, it could have worked out for them, but look at the ults on Unfair. You can see Furia and Shaw and Rum all had it. Those are some of the ults that I said were going to be the most impactful ones, but they just didn't execute in time, right? Rom got picked off early because of the crippling throws we mentioned earlier, therefore it to stop it, but nothing potentially going to stop Unfair right now. They used their inflame, they are walking in, and Only Chill forced to disengage and give up this very strong defensive position.
Fair play to Only Chill. They recognized that with the back end of the Furia ult being used, that there was no point in continuing to fight, especially when you're giving up the high ground control already. But very well played from Unfair to actually regain that control in that moment, to get the high ground taken back, and to... because this part of the defense, this part of the push is probably the most important part on this map. Once you break this initial siege, it doesn't get that much easier, but that's still definitely the hardest part to break.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not the easiest point to cap, but this is definitely the part that makes it the hardest. And look at this very aggressive forward hold right now from them. They are literally going to dismount them in spawn, but Andrew gets crippled. Grover can have such an impact on the game with that, just that ability, honestly. Able to confirm a lot of kills for them right now, and they are just getting bled out here. Where the cart is too, this is a really bad spot for them to be falling right now. Invocal trying to just get a little bit of damage left. It's only Leighton left in the back lane getting shot by Alexa to Talus. We know that's not going to make him last very long. The cart moving past this choke, and Andrew not in a spot to really do anything about it. So you said it's important. This is the part they really have to break through, and they managed to do it.
Do you think that maybe they pushed a bit too aggressive there? I mean, in my mind, oh, that is huge. Losing their healer at this point as they've just broken the most significant choke on the map. They're going to get a good amount of push here, probably at least up to this third and final choke section of this push. But I really do feel like they pushed a little bit too aggressive there onto the on the defense there. I mean, they died so far into spawn, but got pushed back across the map. The respawn timers really were not in their favor.
I think they have to send one person there to get dismounted, and that's going to be it. But a whirlwind popped inside of Mines here, gets them 2 kills, make that 3 with Pixel, now falling as well, and Vocal is buying so much time though, but the timing of these deaths, especially with Bones being staggered off point over to the side there, it's going to be a 3 versus 5 to get this pressure up, and they're going to be going into a Lex ult, Mando ult, and excellent positioning from the rest. Look how fast Leighton is getting just broken to pieces down, and Only Chill quickly get the lead 2-0.
Yeah, as you just said, those staggers really did not work in their favor. They kind of played that from From the point of using the Fury ult, regaining the control that they had, I feel like just mistakes were made there consistently. They pushed too deep. They died on the defense as they gave back too much ground, which just allowed them to get too much, which gave Only Chill too easy of a push through a lot of the chokes. Then they staggered really poorly, with the healer being the last to die as they turned the corner of the push. Really nothing worked in their favor on that defense, and Only Chill taking big advantage of that, going up to the 2-0 already.
Yeah, I think just the timings that they were taking these fights were just bad. I mean, it was they were not taking them in the spots where they really needed to. The over-aggression, like you were calling out earlier, really hindering them here. But now Unfair have 5 ults, and we talked about ults being how they break this. This is the decider here as the Inflame does get popped, plus the Heat Haze as they run it down. 1,300 damage there. Immortal will actually stop an insane amount of ults. A Rumble here could be massive, but caught out. Up top is Vallejo. That's a 4 for 4 with 3 ults. 4 ults were spent by Unfair just to get that even trade. Whirlwind letting them push right back out onto Leighton, who there is no way he's going to survive this. And suddenly, the one thing that Unfair had in their advantage, the one thing that should have let them leverage this, is now out of the picture, and they're stuck on the back foot.
It really didn't work in their favor. Pushing, I mean, Charlin's ult, the whole point of it is the fact that you can be aggressive because you're invisible. He only really pushed on the same exact positioning straight forward. So it didn't really take any surprises to where the damage was coming from, and allowed a really easy Nando ult to counteract it.
I mean, Avaleo also really kept committing to it here, but right now still down 2, but the Dome Shield might buy them time. All right, I don't think. I'll stop caster braiding here. Yeah, they're not gonna be able to close this one out as Bones gets caught out again. I'm just happy that Bones is dying last now for their sake. Bones was getting picked off early in some of these fights, positioning just too aggressively on Furia.
You know it's bad when your team decides that they can just walk into the barrack ult without fear, you know? And the Khan can just commanders grab inside of the dome shield. It's not going well for you.
Yeah, that is the when you know you're overwhelmed. Like, it was a good dome shield at the time, but more or less like the frame he stopped that. The frame he dropped that dome shield was when everyone else died as Invoker with 10,000 DPI spinning and twirling and surviving. A ballerina under duress, but able to make it out alive. Halfway through the push, though, they're past the hardest point. This is a critical retake for Unfair. They really need... I would not be against spending Inflame here, and it looks like they will be willing to do it as well. A Cursed Arm as well. Tarek running away, and they might have been able to reestablish the position here.
Nice few pickups here. 4 kills on the side. Oh, 5 kills. Full 5 kills now for the side of Unfair. Cleaning up quite nicely. Hopefully now we'll see them actually take more of an advantage of their high ground, rather than actually trying to push in for an immense amount of demounts onto the enemies. I mean, Andrew's so good on this map of just flying into the air and dismounting from mid anyway. It doesn't really feel necessary to push in aggressively like they did last time, which they don't, which is nice to see.
This is... Actually, they let the Khan all the way through. Khan just walks in above. No one stops him. That gets Bones killed. All they have to do is play slow on their Grover or use Nando ult instead. Now they don't have to worry about the health that they lose. Yoka, though, a little overextended, goes to get a pick. Does trade it, but with spawn disadvantage, it might not help them quite as much. Whirlwind now popped, trying to chase down and help his Talus. And Grog might be a little bit overextended here.
They're going straight in for the healer now as well. Oh, a little bit of a misplay there. Dashing to the wrong direction. Unfortunately falling down, not being able to pick up that kill on the back end of the Talus on the healer. But you can see their intention. They're just going straight for the healer. And it's working. Oh, there you go. Again, just as we say it. They go for the healer. They just try and ult Bones. And when they don't have that Furia, the Furia is not getting ult charged. The team's not getting heals. Like, they're losing so much value because of this.
That was a lot of pressure from that Heat Haze. It did slow them down. They had to wait to re-heal, and Bones is back up. But again, now it's a 4 versus 5 number disadvantage. Talus wins that duel on the other side. What can Unfair do to delay this? The ROM is walking away, and Vocal's going to be coming in, but he's crippled already. Probably going to have to see a Dome Shield, even a ROM ult, but it doesn't find anything.
Oh my lord, that ROM ult. The round fell so fast, I thought it was Lex's ult. Oh, it was. Maybe it was. It might have been Lex's ult. I just didn't see the animation player there. They have getting real low on this side though. Reversal goes up to try and keep him alive for just a little bit longer. The triple kill coming through from Talus. Emo's just a little bit too early, but I don't think it matters. They're going to shred through Leighton here and just casually push this on through. Only Chill with a 4-0 here. I was very much not expecting a 4-0 this late in the game. But the thing is, 4-0s don't really mean as often as people think that the games are going to be very one-sided, sometimes it can just be a little bit of a draft mishap. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a draft misplay in using the characters correctly throughout the match. And I don't want to count out any team just yet.
The Rock Monkey Androxus theorem continues to prove its truth. And
I very much agree with him, though.
You do?
I think I think Rock Monkey is very true with what he says with Androxus. I think he's still a fantastic character, but he's most certainly not a first pick
absolutely
character at this point, especially on a map like Splitstone, where you see the potential that this Grover had, the range that he has, the damage he does, the all-round healing that he does. It's just when Androxus pushes into something like that, and you have these ults available like Grover's Whirlwind, he just doesn't do that much, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Grover Whirlwind, it's good for healing up, and obviously if someone else is pressuring, it can be good, but usually the angles that Andro is going to be using these ults on are not ones where your teammates are going to be hitting them with caught, right? Unless they're all collapsing. Plus having Nando there as well, we saw quite a few, I feel like, of those ults getting kind of brick-walled.
Yeah, for sure.
From what we were seeing, he was really getting stalled out quite a bit by both Nando and Grover, not getting value from that, doing okay in the neutral, but that was it.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's see. Yeah, we have stats from the game. I'd love to take a look
we have stats. Fantastic.
Those here. We'll see
what
how exactly it went. 17-4 from him. Andrew, top damaged, but only just barely over both Barrick and Rom. Oh, no, not top damage. I totally missed Shaw. Okay, yeah. Shaw, just barely over the tanks.
Yeah. 7 and 9, not the best stat line as well, really, you'd like to see from a character like that. As you just pointed out, though, the 17 on 4 on the Talus. The Talus truly is a menace in this game. It's just the safety that Talus provides for himself, right? Like having that get out of jail free card just on the back end of pushing one button to be back at the safety of your team. And I think a character like Talus is fantastic when you're playing with a healer like Grover. For example, if you're playing with a healer like Grover, you can't really play Andro all that well because you pushed in so far that you wouldn't get healing. But Talus, once he comes back, he just waits, gets the healing from the Grover, and then he can just push back in again.
Mm-hmm. You can kind of play with the number advantage that you get when he's forced to disengage, but that's never guaranteed, right? You're never gonna be like, let's go, because you don't know where his rune is unless he's revealed when he goes back. But you can take the little advantage that happens. Like Talus is effectively half picked when he has to go back. But with Grover, I mean, Grover's healing him without even thinking.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He teleports back, gets a little bit of self-healing. He's already back within the radius of Grover's healing. And he does get cooldowns as well on the back end of it too. So even if you think, he's definitely out of the fight, you never know if he's just been insta-healed up and he's brave enough just to push back in because they know you're low.